August 17th, and here we are. It's already Tuesday. So tomorrow I only work 7 hours, and then I'll be off for 4 days. I'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know what hand was at play when I was given these 4 days off. Usually working retail, you don't have a lot of consecutive days off being on my job. But I've been getting scheduled pretty heavily, working 5-6 days straight. Man, it's just kicking my ass. So anyways, before I continue, I want to say thank you so much for my current subscribers, and also for those people who are just visiting my channel and just browsing through my videos. If you guys are connecting with my videos, and if they resonate with you, hit that subscribe key and hit that top bell so you get notifications of all my future uploads. All right, so today's subject is going to be part 2 of a conversation about my dating as a transsexual woman, the things I encountered, the challenges I had, and about the person. This next video is going to be dubbed the CEO. Yes. More on that when I come back. Thank you so much. Hi guys. Okay, so anyways, on this video I want to talk about how long will you continue a relationship when the person you're dating is very controlling, but it could be also your dream date or your dream relationship. How much are you willing to take before you say, I can't do this anymore? We already discussed that trans people, dating is difficult because it's absolutely got to be the right person, you know. And dating for us doesn't come as easy as it does with cisgender people. Yesterday I discussed that, you know, they can break up with someone today, and within 6 months or less or whatever, they can decide to start dating again. They're totally in control in meeting people and dating, pretty much. Because we're such a small minority group, we have to be selective. We don't have a choice. But how much would you take of a control from the other person before you call it quits? Even though it looks to be very promising and everything is there, this guy is attracted to you, very complimentary, always telling you how beautiful you look and how beautiful you are. Okay, he introduced you to all his friends, invited you to his house. Okay, everything that you wanted, all the ingredients are there, except that he's very controlling. This little short video is about one of the guys that I dated, and he happened to be the CEO of Verizon. Okay, and I had met Steve on Match. He was probably the second guy that I met on Match.com, and we had agreed to meet at Starbucks. That first day when we met, I got there first. And then 10 minutes thereafter, he showed up. And he got there right away. I knew it was him, just by the way he was dressed. Very, very clean, cut-looking guy. Had great taste in clothes. And when he walked there, he had his back towards me, and I could see him looking around. So finally, I said, hi. And he turned around, and his eyes just lit up. His eyes just lit up. And he said, hi. He sat down, and he immediately says, oh my, you're so gorgeous. You're beautiful. He says, you asked me to meet you at Starbucks, but I'm going to take you to someplace really, really nice. Right away, I felt I was taken back by his magnetism, and he was very attractive. So he kind of walked real close to me, and he put his arm on my shoulders, and he says, I'm going to take you to Shores. Shores was a very romantic, modern restaurant where they had different foods. It wasn't your normal foods. They had exotic salads and stuff like that. So we got in the elevator, went up to Shores on the second floor, and we sat down, and we both had ordered the same salad. And as we placed our order, we was having a conversation, talking about one another and where we've been and where we want to go and yada, yada, yada. And at that time, the whole ceiling of the restaurant opened up from wall to wall. And now we got the beautiful sun rays coming in. And the conversation just felt right. Everything with him felt right. It was amazing. He couldn't take his eyes off me, and I could take my eyes off him. He was very attractive, very well spoken. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, I bit off more than I can chew here. So we finally had our salad, and he says, you want to leave and go for a walk? I said, sure. So we walked to his car, and we went to downtown Sarasota, over the bridge to the city, and we found a good parking spot, and by now it's getting evening, and we went for a walk downtown, and we did some people watching, and we spoke. And he said to me, Steph, I'm really going to be very honest with you. He said, I've been talking to a couple of girls on Match, but I want to let you know right now that I'd like to be just with you. I want to be exclusive. Those were the words he used. I want us to be exclusive. He said, would you like to do that? He says, just think about it. And I said, well, how about those other two girls you're dating? He says, I like you. I feel something with you here that I don't feel with the other two girls. And I want you to think about it. I like to be just with you and work on us, getting to know one another. We could start out as friends, but I want to be exclusive. I don't want to see multiple people. And he had said that he wasn't intimate with them. He had just met them as well. I said, sure, I think I'd like that. I mean, what's not to like? I was very attracted to him. And so we continued our walk, and he wanted to hold hands, so I held his hand. So we got back to his car, and he took me to my car, and he gave me a kiss, and he said, bye, I'll call you this week. So me and Steve ended up dating for about 2 or 3 months. It's been many, many years now, but we dated about 2 or 3 months. Within that time, we went to the beach. We sat by the poolside at his home. He lived in a penthouse atop the 15th floor, overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. And I remember that first day I went to his house. I took the elevator from the lobby downstairs all the way up, and the elevator opened up right in his living room. And right away, when you got out of the elevator, you could see this big glass wall that overlooked the Gulf of Mexico. And he really had a nice place. So anyways, we dated about 2 or 3 months. And we went to the beach. We went for walks on the beach. It was dynamite. It was just like I dreamed for. It was what I wanted, to walk and hold someone's hand on the beach, someone that I could love and care for, and vice versa. And that's what I was feeling. I couldn't believe it. And there were evenings that when I got to work, I would go by his home and we'd sit by the pool while holding hands right by the pool and having a drink. And he introduced me to some of his friends. Some were old business people that he worked with. Others were his golf friends and his pickleball friends, because he loved playing pickleball. And things were going good. So one evening, he called me up and he said, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "I do have plans tomorrow." He says, "Okay, all right, let's get together the next day." I said, "Sure." So he says, "It's Friday. You want to spend the night over?" I said, "Sure, okay. Yeah, we can do that." So Friday came, and I packed my little bag of stuff, my little clothes, and I got in my car and drove to his home. It's about 10 miles from here, 10 or 14 miles from here. And got to his house, went in, and we had supper, and we played soft music, and we can see the sunset coming right through his big glass wall coming in, and we could see people walking down at the beach by the water. It was just beautiful. We sat on the balcony and kissed, and I spent the night over, and we ended up making love that night. And the next morning, I had to get up and come to work. I kissed him while he laid in bed, and I came to work. And then things started to change. I started to pick up on some things that was just weird. I was at his house one day, and he said to me, "We're gonna go out with some friends, and we're just gonna hang out at the Epicure." The Epicure is another really nice, beautiful restaurant downtown Sarasota, and just hang out with his friends and have a nice meal and wine and nice conversation. And that's what happened. So we went back to his house again, and this time I didn't want to sleep over at his house. I wanted to come home. And I said to him, "What do you feel like doing this weekend?" He said, "Stephanie, I got to tell you something." He said, "When you want to do something, just say, 'Steve, I want to do this and I want to do that.'" I'm like, "Why?" I said, "I always ask people what they felt like doing, or maybe we could agree on doing something, right? It's normal to say, 'What do you feel like doing tomorrow?' or 'What do you feel like doing today?'" Now with Steve didn't want that. He wanted me to be direct, right? But that was very difficult for me, because with all my relationships, even when I lived as male, I always said, "What do you feel like doing this weekend?" So because I'm not like that, I would forget often. And it happened more than once. And Steve would have like a hissy fit. He would say, "Now, Steph, I've told you already. Don't ask me what I feel like doing. If you want to do something, just say, 'Steve, I feel like going out to eat. Steve, let's go watch a movie. Steve, let's go for a walk on the beach.'" And he would really get angry. And like I did it like 3 or 4 times, and by now, this guy is going berserk. We were getting our jackets on to go downtown, and I said, what do you feel like doing when we get downtown? He's like, now, Steph, this isn't going to work out. It's not going to work out, okay? I've told you before, okay? I don't want you to say what I feel like doing, because if we do it and it goes wrong, you're going to blame me because I decided to do it. I said, okay, I'm sorry. But he kept on talking about it like every single night. This isn't going to work out if you keep being like this. So anyways, I was starting to be a little nervous about him. So anyways, the second day after this, he called me up and says, what are you doing tomorrow? I says, I don't have any plans for tomorrow. He says, I said, oh, you know, I did have plans with one of my friends. He says, all right, go hang out with your friends, and then we'll get together the next day. So I get home from work, and my friend had made other plans. So that kind of left me open to be with Steve. So I called Steve, and he wasn't answering. So then I sent him a text. I said, hey, look, I'm open after all. My friends don't want to go out. I can't reach them. So I'd rather go out and do something with you. Left him a voicemail. He never called me back. So then finally, I sent him two or three texts. So he sent me my text. He sent me some text. He says, what's going on with all these texts? These are way too many texts, Steph. I didn't know he'd have a hissy fit because I was sending him texts. I just wanted to let him know that I'm available that evening. So I got in my car and I went to the Epicure, one of our favorite places we like to go and eat. So I drive by Epicure and I see him sitting there with his friend, one of his guy friends. So I beat the horn, he waved. And then I parked my car and I walked up to the restaurant, and he kind of pulled me in and gave me a kiss on my lips and put his arms around me and introduced me to a new friend. And as I'm sitting there, he's putting food in my mouth and I'm eating. And then finally his friend had to leave and we went for a walk. There was this really nice alley with flowers everywhere and everything. And he pinned me up against the wall of this alley and started kissing me. Then he says, I have to tell you something. I go, what is it? He says, you send me a lot of text. And he gets out his phone and he goes, look at all these texts, Steph. Why do you send me so many texts like this? I said, I just want to let you know that one of my girlfriends decided not to get together this evening. And I called you and I texted you, left your voicemail, you never returned my call. He goes, yeah, I was out playing pickleball with my friend. He says, I don't like all these texts, Steph. You can't be texting me like this. I said, I'm sorry. But I could feel that the relationship wasn't feeling right. He wanted me to talk a certain way. He thought I texted too much. He didn't want me to text him too much. So he had purchased some tickets to go watch a play on stage downtown Sarasota called The Jersey Boys. And the following month was when we were supposed to go. And then we had an argument because I slipped up and said, what would you like to do this evening? He picked a fight with me because I said, what would you like to do this evening? He said, Steph, I can't do this anymore. I've told you not to do this. Don't talk like that. That's not how I want you to say it. I want you to say, Steve, this isn't going to work out. So that was one too many, this isn't going to work out, Steph. I decided not to spend the night with him that night. I came home and my mind was spinning and just spinning and spinning. Man, this guy is demanding. He's pushy. You know, he was already talking about how I needed to belong to his church. You know, how I needed to belong to his church. And I'm not a church-going person. Okay? My second ex, I bent down to her and became a born-again Christian. And that was awful. It was horrible. Okay? All Steve did was talk about how this church, how I'm going to like this church and the people are so great and yada, yada, yada. You know? So, even though I liked him a lot and ideally we could have worked out, but it could have only worked out is if I bent down to him and acted how he wanted me to act, to say what he wanted me to say. And then he wanted me to move in with him. Another one. He took me in his guest room that he fixed up, and he said, he showed me this big, huge walk-in closet that was totally empty. He said, I want this to be your closet, and I want you to start bringing clothes in here. Okay? Because you keep bringing bags over, and I want you to start bringing your clothes here. And he had gone out and bought me a bathing suit, a two-piece bathing suit, which was hanging there already. And by now, things are not getting any better with him being very pushy and demanding and having outbursts. If I say, what do you feel like doing today? Or what do you feel like doing tomorrow? He would have been, to me, the perfect guy. But there's no perfect people. You either accept it or you don't. So that same evening that he thought that I should move my stuff in slowly was the evening I called him up and said, it's over. I can't do this anymore. I feel like I'm being threatened if I don't talk a certain way or ask you a certain way. Our relationship's not going to work out. So I can't see you anymore. And then I hung up and I never heard from him again. After that, I would see him several times a month. He would show up at my job. He would say hi. But he was just buying stuff for his home. And I actually never forgot about him. You know, I wonder what would have happened. You know, maybe he could have learned not to be so demanding. Maybe he could have learned to adapt to me. Why didn't he adapt to me too? How come we couldn't go halfway? So, I've had a problem dating men. Living as male for many years of my life, I didn't know how to handle some men that were very controlling and very demanding. And I wondered if that's the reason why his wife left him. You know, and he never brought up the fact that I was transgender, or maybe he noticed something about me when we made love that wasn't right or wrong. But there was an evening when we were in bed, and he said to me, you know, Steph, at church today, the pastor said that it really doesn't matter whether you date a man or a woman. And he said that what really matters is love. When you love someone, you don't look at anything. So that could have been a clue that he knew something or felt something about me but didn't want to say it because it didn't matter to him. Now, would he be the perfect guy for me with that mindset? Probably. Definitely. Because he did everything that I liked, that I hoped for. But the fact that he was short-tempered over stupid things showed me that we could live the rest of our lives going like that, like a roller coaster, and I would be on the edge all the time over little things. But yeah, he introduced me to his friends. He was more gentle. He was one of the most gentle person besides David, the guy that I talked about, who was a stockbroker on the first video of the miniseries. But I liked Steve. I was most attracted to him than out of all the guys I dated. I was mostly attracted to him. I really, really was, and I wish things was different, but they weren't. I don't like being pounced on or forced to be a certain way. I want to be accepted of how I am fully, 100%. And I want to accept them for 100% how they are. But I can't be bossed around and pushed into being some way or talk in a certain way that they like if I'm already used to something else. So anyways, if this video resonates with you, or if you've had relationships like this, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and share. Talk to me about what your relationship was, and I'll comment on it. But and I'll see you guys in the next video, I guess, on the next episode. The next episode will be about when I dated a nurse, a woman. I dated her. She was the second longest relationship I had. I dated her for 6 months, and I was absolutely in love. So anyways, you guys have a nice evening, and see you guys soon. Bye-bye.